Here's something nobody in fitness will tell you. The smarter you are, the harder weight loss is. This sounds counterintuitive, yet I've seen this pattern time and time again, including myself. Because you overthink it. You wait for the perfect moment, you try to do everything at once, and when it doesn't work, you stop. And that's not laziness, that is perfection paralysis. It's keeping you stuck like it did to me, until I changed my way of thinking. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why the way you are thinking about this is the problem. Not your discipline or your lifestyle, not even the fact that you became a dad. So stay with me. This one's going to reframe everything. Let me describe someone. High standards in everything he does, successful at work, intelligent, driven. The kind of person, when he commits to something, goes all in. And yet carrying more weight than he wants, stuck and a bit frustrated. Sound familiar? Well, here's what's actually happening. The same traits that make you good at everything else, the high standards, the intensity, the all or nothing thinking, are working against you when it comes to your health. Because weight loss, it's not a project you can sprint through and complete. It's a reflection of how you live every day. And no amount of intensity fixes that. Only consistency does. I did this myself. I would decide enough was enough, new plan, gym 6 days a week, clean eating, no alcohol, track everything, full intensity. And it worked for about 3 weeks. Then life happened. Kid got ill, work got busy, bedtime ran long. One missed session became two became a week. The guilt of the missed week was so heavy that instead of just getting back on it, I just wrote the whole thing off. Started again Monday, which became started again next month. This is just what happens when you become a dad. And that last thought there is the most dangerous one of all, because it's not true. It's just a story you tell yourself to make the avoidance feel acceptable. So here is what I eventually understood. I was not failing because I lacked discipline. I was failing because I was trying to incorporate everything at once. New diet, new training routine, new sleep schedule, new morning habits, all of it. From day one, at full intensity. As if I could just decide to become a completely different person on a Monday and sustain it for a busy week with a toddler and a job and roughly 4 hours of broken sleep at best. I couldn't hold on to any of it. Not because the individual things were wrong, but because the volume was impossible. And the real problem underneath that, I wasn't actually building anything. I was just performing. I was trying to be like somebody else, trying to look like someone who had the basics sorted, without having actually sorted the basics myself. And the basics aren't complicated. Walk more, eat slightly less calories, weigh yourself so you have the data instead of guessing. That's the foundation. Everything else, the optimized diet, the structured training program, all of it sits on top of that foundation. And I had been trying to build the roof before I had the walls up. The moment I stopped trying to do everything and just focused on doing the simple things consistently, well, that's when everything changed. Now let me name what is actually going on in your head, because these feel completely rational from the inside. That is exactly why they are dangerous. Belief 1, I need to get everything right before I start. You know what keto does, you know what intermittent fasting does. You have watched the videos, read the threads, maybe even bought a program or two. And you've not changed a single thing yet, because you're still waiting to have enough information to begin, still looking for the approach that has no flaws, no gaps, nothing that could go wrong. That approach doesn't exist. And the search for it's not preparation, it's delay, dressed up as due diligence. You do not need to understand every variable. You need to start moving and pay attention to what happens. The understanding comes from doing it, not from reading about doing it. Belief 2, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it properly. That word has probably cost you years. Properly means waiting until January, not during the busy period at work, not while the kid is in that difficult phase, not until you have the time to do it the way it deserves to be done. And the result of properly is that nothing happens. The version of this that works is not the perfect version. It's the standard version, the slightly messy, imperfect, held together with good intentions version that you actually ran for 3 months and adjusted as you went. An imperfect plan you follow beats a perfect plan you are still designing. Every single time. Belief 3, I've tried this before and it did not work. Most dads who say this tried something well above their pay grade in terms of health and fitness, being convinced by somebody with too much time on their hands that they need to wake up at 5 a.m, eat 5 raw eggs and sculpt a new version of themselves in a CrossFit gym, inevitably ending up exactly where you started, miserable, defeated and fed up. That is not a failed experiment. That is just a guaranteed result. But what if you can guarantee weight loss if you approach things properly? If you actually focus on the fundamentals first instead of hype and false promise? So start imperfectly. Start today. That's your starting point. Not a transformation plan, not a system overhaul, just stepping on the scale and facing the truth. The dads who get results are not the ones who found the perfect system on day one. They're the ones that started badly and kept going. You're not stuck because you are not smart enough to figure this out. You are stuck because you are smart enough to keep finding reasons not to start. That's it. That's the whole game. In the next video, I talk about why starting too hard is your issue as a dad. So check it out.